Hi friends, welcome to Coding Droplets. So this is part 3 of RabbitMQ tutorial. So in this video, we are going to see how we can implement RabbitMQ in our C# application. So this is the part 3 of the series, tutorial series. So if you are seeing this video for the first time, I request you to watch the previous videos. In the previous videos, we have already explained about what is RabbitMQ, how RabbitMQ works, and what are the process, what are the modules, all these things. So in RabbitMQ, we have to create exchanges, we have to create queues. All these things we have discussed in the previous videos. Now in this video, we are going to see how we can do everything programmatically without using the RabbitMQ management portal. So please subscribe the channel if you have not subscribed it yet, and press the bell icon so that you will get notified once we upload new videos. And I request you to like, share, and subscribe the channel. So let us start the session now. So now we are going to create a sample application for connecting to RabbitMQ and do all the processes. So this is a normal Windows form application, a WinForm application, which I have created for sample, RabbitMQ sample. So first thing what we need to do is we need to install the library for RabbitMQ. So I'm just right-clicking on references. Now click on Manage Nugget Packages. And inside Nugget Packages, we need to click on the Browse tab and search for RabbitMQ. Yeah, so now you can see there is a library named RabbitMQ.client. So I'm installing it. It is getting installed. It may take some time. Yeah, all the packages are getting installed. There are some dependencies as well. Along with RabbitMQ, we may need, it will get installed automatically. So now if we check the installed tab, now you can see there are some other libraries as well installed. And these things has got installed along with RabbitMQ. Fine. So this library is enough for us. Now let us check how we can implement all the things like creating exchanges, creating queues, all these things in RabbitMQ. So first thing what we need is we need a connection string. So you all know that when you're connecting to a database, you will provide a connection string to connect to the database. In the same way for RabbitMQ also, we can connect using a connection string. So in order to provide the connection string, I'm opening the app.config file. Okay, and here I'm providing connection strings. Add name, I'm giving RabbitMQ connection. You can provide whatever name you need. And the connection string, there is a specific format for connection string. I have copied it in the notepad. I will explain how it is. Yeah, I'm just copy pasting it. So here, now what you have to do is, it should start with AMQP : // Then here you have to provide the username. So say we are going to create a new user, credentials, username and password, and a new virtual host, all these things. So let's say our username is demo user and password is demo123. Fine. And host, you can provide, if you are having the RabbitMQ installed in your same machine, then you can give it like localhost. Otherwise, you can provide the IP address of the machine or the domain. If a domain name is pointed to a particular server and the RabbitMQ is installed in that server, then you can provide the domain name. So here we have to provide the machine address, IP or host name in which RabbitMQ service is installed. Okay, now I'm giving it as localhost as I have installed it in my localhost machine. And the port number is 5672. This is the default port number for RabbitMQ. Okay, now here one thing I need to mention is in the previous videos we have opened or we have discussed about RabbitMQ management portal. So the RabbitMQ management portal will be listening on a port number 15672, but RabbitMQ service will be listening in a port number 5672. Okay, that is the difference. And virtual host, now we need to create a new virtual host. So let's say we are going to create a virtual host named demo app. Okay, so let us create a virtual host, then a user credentials under that virtual, which is having that virtual host permission. So let's do it from the RabbitMQ management portal. So I'm logging in with my admin credentials. I think, yeah. Sorry. Okay. So I have logged in with my admin credentials. Now I'm going to the admin tab. And okay, here we have a demo app already created. I think we have created this for a previous video. Let me delete this. If we delete the virtual host, all the exchanges or queues registered under that virtual host will get automatically deleted. So we don't need to go and manually delete each exchanges and queues under that virtual host. All these things will get deleted along with that actually. Now, the next thing, a user is also here. So I'm deleting this user as well. We don't need this. Now we are going to create a fresh virtual host and user credentials. So let's say we are going to create a new virtual host. So here we have given the virtual host name as demo app. So let's say that is the virtual host. We are going to create a demo app. Okay. So now demo app virtual host is created. Now the next, what we are going to do is we are going to create a user credential. So this user won't be having access in the management portal, but the this user will be connecting from our application. From our application, if we need to establish a connection, we have to provide a user credentials. So we are going to create a user name and password for that. So the user name, sorry, not this one. The username is demo user. Sorry. Okay, demo user, fine. Then the password, demo123. I'm just copy pasting it. Then confirm password. Okay. And here I'm not giving any tags like admin, monitoring, or any of these things. So if we are providing admin access, the user will be able to log in to the management portal, this web portal. But we don't need this user to log into the management portal. We need this user credentials to access from the application. Okay, I'm clicking on add user. Now the user has been created. Now the next thing what we need to do is we have to provide the user access to the virtual host, which we have created just now. So I'm clicking on the user. So here it shows the message, the user does not have permission to access any virtual hosts. So now we are providing the access to demo app virtual host. Okay, set permission. Fine. Now the user is having demo app virtual host permission. So this user can access any queues or any exchanges under demo app. Okay. So now everything is fine. There is a user, everything is fine. And if we are going to exchanges now, you can see there are some new exchanges created automatically under demo app. Actually, this exchanges will get created automatically by RabbitMQ, but we are not going to use any of these exchanges under demo app. We will be creating new exchange from our application programmatically. Also, we'll be creating new queues and bind exchange with a queue, all these things programmatically. So let's see how we can do those things. So first, in the application, I'm creating a button in the form. So here, what I'm going to show is how to do each process with RabbitMQ, like how to establish a connection, how to create an exchange, how to create queue, how to bind a queue with an exchange, all these things separately. So we will create multiple buttons for each operations, and we will do the things in the button click. We will be yeah. One moment. We will button. I'm just renaming this. Not. I'm just changing the text of this button to connect RabbitMQ. Okay. And let me change the name of this button, btn connect RabbitMQ. So first we will discuss how to establish the connection with RabbitMQ. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the click event of this button. Okay. Now first I'm going to declare a private variable, private I connection. So in this variable, we are going to store the connection. So for using I connection, we have to use RabbitMQ.client library. Okay, that is added here. Okay, now I'm just naming it as RabbitMQ connection. Sorry, connection. Fine. Now, once we click this button, what I need is we will initiate or we will establish a connection between RabbitMQ and our application. Okay, so the connection will be saved in this variable. So for that, first we need the connection string. So what I'm going to do is I'm retrieving the connection string from the app.config file. So connection string is equal to configuration manager. Okay, in order to use configuration manager, we need to use add a reference. Assemblies system.configuration. We have to search for system.configuration and just add it. That's it. Now we can use system.configuration. Okay, dot connection strings of, and here we have to provide the name what we have given here. It is RabbitMQ connection. Okay. Dot connection string. Fine. And just removing the remove unnecessary usings. Okay. So now we got the connection string in this variable. Okay. Now using this connection string, we are establishing a connection with RabbitMQ. So for that, first we need to declare a connection factory. New connection factory. Okay. Now next thing what we need to provide is we need to give this connection factory this connection string in a URI format. So for that, connection factory dot URI is equal to new URI of the connection string. Okay. Okay, so we have provided the connection string. Now, next two steps, this is not mandatory, but I will explain you what is the advantage of those two methods. So the first thing what I'm providing is connection, sorry, not connection string, connection factory dot automatic recovery enabled is equal to true. So I'm assigning a property automatic recovery enabled of connection factory to true. So the advantage is once we establish the connection and in between the connection got lost due to some reason, it might be some network issues, or sometimes our internet might get disconnected and it got reconnected again. So if we provide this automatic recovery enabled, or if we assign this automatic recovery enabled as true, then the RabbitMQ library will reconnect automatically once the connection become established. Like if there is any network issues and once it is resolved, automatically the RabbitMQ connection will get connected automatically. The server and client will get connected automatically. So here the main advantage is we don't need to check the RabbitMQ connection is alive or not, and if it is not alive, then we have to, otherwise we have to manually try reconnecting again and again if the connection got lost in between. So if we are providing this value as true, then we don't need to bother about it. Automatically the library will take care of those things. Now the next part, what I'm going to do is connection factory dot dispatch consumers async. So if we provide this value as true, then the consumer means our application is a consumer. Our application means an application can be a consumer or a publisher. Like in RabbitMQ, we know a client can publish a message and a client can subscribe a message. So those who are subscribing a message are called consumers. So they are consuming the message from RabbitMQ. So the consumers can retrieve the message asynchronously. That is what we are saying here. Okay. So this is how we need to create the connection factory. Now the next thing what we have to do is we are assigning this connection. RabbitMQ connection is equal to connection factory dot create connection of here we can provide a connection name. So say here I'm giving a meaningful name, demo app client app. Oh no, okay, demo app client. Okay, fine. So now this is enough for establishing a connection. Now I will show you how this works. I'm running the application. I'm clicking on start. So let me check our RabbitMQ management portal. Yeah, it is ready here. So I'm opening the connections tab. Now the main advantage of this connection tab is we can see the live connection, the live connections. So here it will show now there are no connections established. So if there is a connection, it will show the connection details here. So now the app is running, our application is running, and I'm clicking on connect RabbitMQ. Okay. Now you can see the connection got established. Okay. And here we can see the connection name which we have provided here, demo app client. So here the main advantage is if you have multiple applications connecting to RabbitMQ service, you can provide some meaningful name or your application name or something, so that you can identify which to which application this particular connection belongs to. So here we can easily identify now this is connected by demo app client. Okay, and the username is demo user. Now the state is running, the connection is running. Okay, so we can see the details here. Fine. So now we have connected our application with RabbitMQ. Now I'm closing this application. So once we closed, immediately you can see the connection got lost. Okay, fine. So now the next thing what we are going to see is how we can create a new exchange. Okay. So for that, what I am doing is I am creating one more button here. Okay, now just changing the text to create exchange. Okay, and changing the name btn create exchange. Fine. Okay, now I am just opening the click event of this button. Fine. So for creating an exchange or for publishing, subscribing, creating exchange, or creating a queue, the main thing what we need is we need to establish a channel, or inside the RabbitMQ connection, we can create multiple channels. Okay, so using a channel only, we can do these kind of operations like creating an exchange, creating queues, publishing message to Exchange and subscribing messages from queues. All these things we can do using a channel. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm creating a channel here. So anyway, this channel, we don't need to keep it alive. We can close the channel once we create the exchange. So once the exchange is created, we don't need this channel. We don't need this channel at all. So what I'm doing is I'm giving using var channel is equal to our RabbitMQ connection, this RabbitMQ connection dot create model. Okay. And these channels we can see here, so that I will show you. Now we have the channel. We have the channel created. Now using this channel, we can create exchange. So for creating exchange, we have a method named exchange declare. So we have to pass some parameters in order to create a new exchange. So I will show you what are all the parameters we have to pass and what are the uses of those parameters. Okay. So for creating exchange or exchange declare, we have to provide these many parameters. So the syntax is the channel object. Okay, now we have created a new channel. So the channel object dot exchange declare. Then the parameters what we have to provide is, first thing is the exchange name. We have to provide a unique exchange name. A unique exchange name means anyway, you know that we have a virtual host created. So under that virtual host, we can create an exchange with a name, and the same name cannot be duplicated for another exchange. Okay, so it should be unique inside a virtual host. So that is the first parameter, the exchange name. And the second parameter is exchange type. So we know that there are 4 types of exchanges. The first exchange is direct exchange. Then the second exchange is fan out exchange. We have already discussed the difference between these exchanges in the previous videos. And the third type is header exchange and topic exchange. Okay, fourth one is topic exchange. And the third one is durable. That is a true or false, a Boolean value. And the fourth parameter is auto delete. So these are the description of each parameters. Like the exchange type, each exchange belongs to one of a set of exchange types implemented by the server. The exchange types define the functionality of the exchange, that is how messages are routed through it. And it is not valid or meaningful to attempt to change type of an existing exchange. Okay, so if we have already created an exchange with a particular name, say exchange 01, and we have already assigned it as a direct exchange, so then we should not try to change the exchange type to fan out with the same name. So that means we don't try to modify, we cannot modify the exchange type once it is created. Okay. Now, exchanges cannot be redeclared with different types. The client must not attempt to exchange with a different type. Okay, the client must not attempt to declare an exchange with a type that server does not support. So if we try to declare an exchange that server does not support, we will get an error code command invalid. Okay. Now durable, what is durable? Here I have told it is a true or false value. So if set to true when creating a new exchange, the exchange will be marked as durable, and durable exchanges remains active when a server restarts. Non-durable exchange are purged when a server restarts. Okay. And the next is auto delete. Auto delete means if set to true when creating a new exchange, the exchange will get deleted when all queues have finished using it. So once all queues are when all queues finished using an exchange, it will get deleted automatically. The next time again we have to create an exchange. So these are the parameters we need to use. So let's see now how we can use this in our application. Okay, so let's open our application now. So here we are going to open the bracket. Okay, now the exchange name, let's say we are naming it as customer notification. This is the example we have discussed in our previous video. So let's use the same example here. We will be having an exchange named customer notification and two queues. One will be for email and one will be for SMS. Okay, so the same thing we are implementing in this video. So customer notification will be the exchange name and type is exchange type dot. Here we have all the four types: direct, fan out, headers, topic. Okay, these are basically a string variable. These are basically string constants. So you can see the value here. If we choose direct, that means it is direct in lowercase. Also fan out in lowercase, headers in lowercase, topic in lowercase. So instead of using it like this, we can just use it like this, direct. This will also work. But anyway, RabbitMQ library is providing us an easier option. In my opinion, this is the easier one. We don't need to bother about the text or the case. It might be case sensitive or something. So we don't need to bother about that. We can just use this exchange type dot direct. Now the next is durable. So durable, we are providing it as true. Then auto delete, we don't need to auto delete the exchange. So providing it as false, that's enough. So now it will create an exchange with the name customer notification. So let's see. Now I'm starting the application. So in order to create the exchange, we should be connected to the RabbitMQ. So anyway, we have to click on this button first. So let me open RabbitMQ management portal and clicking on connect RabbitMQ. It will take some 5 seconds for this page to get refreshed. Yeah, now it is refreshed. So you can see now the connection got established. Now I am creating exchange. Okay, so we cannot see the channel here. Why? Because once the exchange got created, immediately the channel will get disconnected. So that is why it is not showing any channels. But you can see here now the exchange already got created. So here we have the exchange named customer notification. It is a direct exchange. Okay. And features D means it is durable. That is D. Now, the next thing what we need to check is how, or we are going to see is how we can create queues. So for creating a queue from our application, again, it is the same procedure, like we have to use a channel for that. So anyway, I'm stopping this application. Let me create one more button. So once we click on this button, we will create two queues. As I told, we need two different queues for our scenario, customer notification, one for email and one for SMS, the same example which we have discussed in our previous video. So let me change the text, create queues. Okay, there are two queues. Okay. Now name I'm changing to btn create queues. Fine. Now I'm going to take the click event. So now in the same way, we have to use a channel. Okay. Now channel dot queue declare. So this is the library which we need. Oh, sorry. This is the method which we need to use for creating a queue. Okay. So now let's see what are all the parameters we need to use for creating a queue. So for creating a queue, we need, this is the syntax, channel object dot queue declare. And the first thing is the queue name, first parameter. And second parameter is durable, third exclusive, and fourth one auto delete. Now let's see what are all these things. So queue name, anyway, you know that it is a meaningful name for the queue. Again, as we told in Exchange, we should provide a unique name for the queue. So the same name cannot be duplicated under an under a virtual host. So we can use the same exchange name or queue name in another virtual host. That is not an issue. But under the same virtual host, we have to use unique names for queues and exchanges. Now, durable. So if set to true when creating a new queue, the queue will be marked as durable. Durable queues remain active when a server restarts. Non-durable queues are purged if or when a server restarts. Okay. Then exclusive. Exclusive queues may only be accessed by the current connection. So that queue will be exclusively created for the current connection. Okay. Passive declaration of an exclusive queue by another connections are not allowed. The client may not attempt to use a queue that was declared as exclusive by another still open connection. So then we will get an error, resource locked. So once a queue is an exclusive queue is used by one connection and another connection is trying to access the same queue, then the second connection will get an error, resource locked. Okay. Now auto delete, if set to true, the queue will be deleted when all consumers have finished using it. When all the messages has been delivered to all consumers, then the queue will get automatically deleted. The last consumer can be cancelled either explicitly or because its channel is closed. If there was no consumer ever on the queue, it won't be deleted. Okay, so once we just created the queue with auto delete, it won't get deleted immediately. It will wait for connection. But once a connection established, once a consumer retrieved messages from the queue, then it will get automatically deleted. So these are the parameters we need to provide while creating a queue. So now let's provide these things in our application. So I'm opening the bracket to provide the parameters. Okay, the first thing is queue name. So as we know in our previous example, we have used the queue name as email. So this is for sending email notification to the customers. Okay. Now the second, durable is equal to true. We need durable queue. And exclusive, we don't need an exclusive queue. Let other connections also access the queue, no problem. Now another thing is auto delete. We don't need to delete the queue automatically. Fine, so this is enough. Now in the same way, we have to create one more queue for SMS. Okay, so we are declaring two different queues. Okay, fine. Now let us start the application and see whether it is creating the queue successfully. Okay, I'm opening RabbitMQ. Okay, going to connections and clicking on connect RabbitMQ. The connection got established. Now I'm going to queues. Now we don't need to create exchange. Oh yeah, one more thing I need to mention. So now we already have customer notification exchange. So if we are trying to create exchange again, nothing will happen. Why? Because already customer notification exchange exists. So RabbitMQ won't duplicate the exchange. So as I told you, it should be unique. So unique means if we try to create the exchange again, it won't get created. So when I'm clicking multiple times, nothing will happen. The exchange, there will be only one exchange with the name customer notification. Okay. Now I'm going to queue. So there are no queues at all. And we are creating queues. Yes, now the queues got created. So under demo app, we have one queue named email and another queue named SMS. And it is durable. Fine, durable, true. So this is how we can create queues. Now the next thing what we need to do is we have to bind our new queues with the exchange. Okay, as we have done in our previous video, we have done using the management portal. Now we are going to do it programmatically. So for that, again, I'm closing the application and creating a new button here. Okay. Then naming it as bind queues. Okay. And the name bind queues. Fine. I'm opening the click event. Okay. So for this, for binding the queue also, we need the channel. Again, I'm using this to create a new channel. So for binding a queue, we have a method named queueBind. So this method is used to bind a queue. Now for this method also, we have to provide some parameters. So let's see what all the parameters we have to provide to bind a queue. So for binding a queue, the parameters we need is the queue name first. So we already know we have a queue, we have already created a queue named email. Okay. Now the next is the exchange name to which we have to bind. So the exchange name is customer notification. We have already created the exchange. And the next parameter is the routing key. So routing key we have already discussed in our previous video. A direct exchange will route the messages using the routing key. So for email, we are providing a routing key email itself in lowercase. So that will be sufficient. Okay. So now we have given a binding for email queue. In the same way, we are binding with SMS queue. So the name of the queue is SMS. And let's say the routing key is SMS in lowercase. Fine. So now I'm running the application. So before binding these queues, let's check from our management portal. Now we have, I'm clicking on the email queue and you can see that there are no bindings at all. Okay, we have not binded the queue yet. And for SMS queue as well, there are no bindings. Okay. Now I am connecting to RabbitMQ. The connection will get connection got established. Now clicking on binding queues, and you can see now the SMS queue has been binded to customer notification with a routing key SMS. Okay. In the same way, the email queue also binded with customer notification with a routing key email. So the binding also successfully done. So now the setup is ready. We have created the exchange, we have created the queues, and we have created the bindings. Now the next thing what we are going to see is how we can publish a message in to the exchange. Okay. So for that, now I am opening Visual Studio. So in Visual Studio, now form, I'm placing a text box to type the message what we need to send to the exchange. So let's say this is our message, and yeah, that text box will hold the message and a button to publish. So this button will be publish. Okay, we need we have two different routing keys. Okay, fine. So let's see. This one is for publishing a message to, I'm placing a label here. So we have two routing keys. One is SMS and another one email. So publish email. This is for email. Sorry. Oh, this was the name. I'm sorry. So I'm changing the text. Publish email. Okay. And I'm changing the text box name here. TXT publish email. And the button I'm changing name to BTN publish email. Here I'm changing it to publish email. Okay. Now I'm just copying this and pasting it again. And this one we are going to use for publishing SMS. Okay, so changing the text of the label to publish SMS, and changing the name of the text box to txt publish SMS, and changing the button name to btn publish SMS, and also I'm changing the text to publish SMS. Fine. So now I'm opening the click event of publish email first. So here again we need to use the channel. So we need to create a channel for publishing a message. Fine. So using this channel, we can publish a message. Okay, before that, for publishing a message, we can use properties. We can declare the properties of message. I will explain it. So for that, I'm declaring var properties is equal to channel dot create basic properties. Okay. Now properties dot, there are several properties. We can assign several properties. So the main property which I used to do is delivery mode. So delivery mode, one means persistent, and one means non-persistent, and two means persistent. So if we are delivering this particular message to a durable queue, then the message will be permanently saved, or we can say that it will be logged in the hard disk. Or if a crash occurs, like if the server got restarted or something occurs, so the message won't be lost actually. So it will be we will be still able to retrieve the message from RabbitMQ. So I'm giving delivery mode equal to 2. Now there are some more properties like expiration. Expiration, we can provide a expiration timestamp in a string format. So the message will get expired after a particular time period. Okay, so anyway, now in this demo, I'm just using delivery mode. That is enough. Now I'm publishing a message. So for that, channel dot basic publish. For basic publish, there are some parameters. The first parameter is the address. That means the exchange name. So we know that the exchange name is customer notification. Okay. Now the next is we are providing the routing key. Yeah, sorry, that is different. Yeah, this is the exchange name, customer notification. And now the next is a routing key. So this button we are using for routing email messages. So we know that the routing key for email queue is email. Okay. And the next is the properties. So the properties object we have created here. And the next is the message. So the message we have to convert it to byte array or bytes. Okay. So we know that. Okay. Anyway, I'll do one thing. I'll retrieve the message from the text box where message is equal to txt publish email.text. Okay. We got the message here. Now we need to convert this to bytes. So encoding, for that we have to use system.text. Encoding.utf-8.get bytes of message. That's it to publish a message. Now let's see. So I'm clicking on start. Let us open our RabbitMQ management portal, and first I have opened the connections tab. Now clicking on connect RabbitMQ, and we don't need to create exchange, create queues or bind. We have already done this, but if we click on create exchange or create queues or bind queues, nothing will happen. Why? Because it is already binded and it is already created and binded. Okay, so nothing will happen. Anyway, so we can see the queues here, and in email queue we have a binding. with a routing key email. We have a binding to customer notification with a routing key email. Okay, fine. And here you can see now there are no messages ready to get delivered. It is 0 and acknowledged 0, total 0. Okay, now I am sending a message. So let's say the email, I'm sending a message like this is a sample message to email queue, publishing it. And now you can see here, yeah, now the count has become 1. So 1 message is ready to deliver. So let's see what is the message. We can retrieve the message here as we have discussed in our previous video. So I'm giving acknowledge requeue false and get message. Now you can see this as the same message. You can see the same message what we have published. Okay, so the message got delivered from the queue. And now there are no messages ready. Why? Because they have already delivered the message. We have retrieved it from the portal itself. But we will see how we can retrieve it from our application. So just before that, now we have to we have to provide the click event for publish SMS. So it is same. We can just copy paste it from here. There is only some small differences. We just need to change the text box name to publish SMS. So we need to retrieve the message from this text box. And also we have to use the routing key SMS. But the exchange name is same. We are sending the message to the same exchange customer notification, but the routing key is SMS. Okay. Now I'm running it. Again, I'm doing one thing. Email message 01. Now I cannot publish directly. First, I need to connect to RabbitMQ. Okay, it got connected. Now I'm publishing it. Now here I'm publishing SMS message 01. I'm publishing this as well. So now you can see, yeah, email is 1, and this will also refer. The page will refresh now. Just wait maximum for 5 seconds. Yeah, it got refreshed. So the SMS also, SMS queue also got 1 message, and email queue also got 1 message from the same customer notification exchange based on the routing key. Okay, fine. So now the next thing what we are going to see is how we can programmatically consume the message, or how we can receive the message from RabbitMQ. So let's open Visual Studio. So for that, I'll do one thing. I'm creating one label here. Email messages, and creating a list box. Where's the list box? Oh, here it is. Okay, email messages. So what I'm planning is to display the messages retrieved in this list box. Okay, in the same way, we need a list box for SMS messages. So I'm just changing this label text to SMS messages. Okay, now we can provide a name for this list box. Okay, LSD email messages. Okay, and this is LSD SMS messages. Fine. So here we don't need a button. Why? Because what we are, we need a button actually. We need to, for subscribing as well. What we are doing is we will create 2 buttons for that, to subscribe to 2 different queues. So I'm placing the one button here. So once we click this button, it will start listening for the queue for the messages from the queue, and it will display, the application will display the messages in this list box. This is what I need to do. So btn subscribe email queue. The text subscribe email queue. So this button is for subscribing the email queue, and I'm creating one more button for subscribing the SMS queue. Subscribe here, instead of email, I'm giving it as SMS, and the button name btn subscribe SMS queue. Okay. So first, I'm implementing this email subscribe queue button click event. Fine. So now we are going to subscribe the email queue. So once we subscribed, the application will be able to receive the messages from email queue. So for this, again, we need channel, but there is a small difference. Here we have used the channel, or we don't need the channel after publishing or after creating an exchange or after creating a queue and all. So we have closed the channel immediately. No need to provide or no need to dispose the channel. If we are giving it like this inside a using statement, automatically once all these methods got executed, then the channel will get disposed automatically. But for subscription, we cannot dispose the channel. We need the channel to be active. Then only we'll be able to continuously receive messages from the queue. So for this, what I'm doing is I'm creating a private two variables. So we need two channels, I model. So here I'm naming this email channel. Okay. And one more we need, that is SMS channel. Fine. Okay, now I'm going down, and in this, but while we click subscribe email queue button, what we need is first we need to initiate this email channel. So email channel is equal to RabbitMQ Connection dot create model. As we have given here, there is no difference, but this email channel will be a private variable, so it will be valid till the application closed. Okay. Now the next is email channel dot basic QoS. QoS means quality of service. So I will explain you what is QoS and how what are all the parameters we need to use for declaring or in this particular method. So for QoS, for basic QoS, the channel, this is the syntax, channel object dot basic QoS, then prefetch size, that is the first parameter, then prefetch count, second parameter, then global. So let's see what are all these things. So the prefetch size, the client can request that messages be sent in advance so that when the client finishes processing a message, the following message is already held locally rather than needing it to be sent down the channel. Prefetching gives a performance improvement. This field specifies the prefetch window size in octets. The server will send a message in advance if it is equal to or smaller in size than the available prefetch size. So here, when we provide a size like some 5 or 10, then automatically our application will be able to receive that many messages and hold it. So once we completed the processing of one message, immediately we can access the next one. So we don't need to get it again from, or we don't, our application won't be application would need to get it from RabbitMQ. So already the message will be held locally. Okay, that is what prefetch size. And prefetch count specifies a prefetch window in terms of whole messages. This field may be used in combination with the prefetch size field. A message will only be sent in advance if both free prefetch windows and those at the channel and connection level allow it. The prefetch count is ignored if no acknowledgement option is set. Now, prefetch count means if we provide 2 or 3, the total count is as 2 or 3, then our application will be able to receive that many messages without sending an acknowledgement. Yeah, that is the correct word. So normally, if we provide prefetch count as 1, then how it works is we will receive one message and we will process it. Then we have to send an acknowledgement to RabbitMQ. Once we send an acknowledgement, RabbitMQ will send the next message and we can process it. And again, after that acknowledgement, the next message will be received. So if we provide the prefetch count as 2, then our application will be able to receive 2 messages, and we can process these 2 messages one by one or parallelly. That is up to us. Then once we send a acknowledgement to RabbitMQ, then the next message arrives. So at a time, our application will be able to receive 2 messages, or it will be able to handle 2 messages. So this prefetch count, it seems very useful for me. Like, let's say an example, as we told in our previous videos. For example, we are using this for sending emails. We have a microservice application for sending emails. So let's say we have a server, or we are deploying this application in a server. So that server is having a capacity to handle some 10 emails concurrently. Means with the server resources, processor, memory, and all, the RAM and all, we can send some 10, or let's say some 50 emails concurrently, simultaneously. Okay, so what we can give here is we can provide the prefetch count as 50. So our application will be able to receive 50 messages simultaneously. That means our application will be handling a maximum of 50 emails, or it will be processing a maximum of 50 emails simultaneously. Once we completed the process and we send an acknowledgement to RabbitMQ, the RabbitMQ will send the next message to our application. So we can simply say that our application will process a maximum of 50. Okay, so if we have another server, we have another server which can handle a maximum of 100. So what we can do is we can deploy the same application in server 2 as well, and but we will set the prefetch count as 100, and in the server 1 the prefetch count will be 50. So these 2 servers will be handling a maximum of total 150 simultaneously. Server 2 will be handling 100 simultaneous, and server 1 will be handling 50 emails simultaneous. This is how it works actually. Hope you got the idea. If you have any doubts, comment to the video. I will try to explain it in a more detailed way. Okay. And so prefetch count is a very useful parameter which I normally use in almost all my applications. Now global, RabbitMQ has reinterpreted this field. The original specification said by default QoS settings apply to the current channel only. If this field is set to true, they are applied to the entire connection. Instead, RabbitMQ takes global is equal to false to mean that the QoS settings should apply per consumer. And global is equal to true means that the QoS settings should apply per channel. Okay, so anyway, in our example, we will be using global as false. So now let's provide the parameters for basic QoS. So first, prefetch size. Anyway, we are not giving prefetch size, so let's give it as 0. And prefetch count, let's provide it as 1. So we will be receiving one message at a time. Then after acknowledgement only, our application will be receiving the next message from the queue, from the email queue. Okay. And global, we are providing it as false. Fine. Now what we need to do is we have to declare a consumer. So var email channel consumer is equal to new async. So we know that we have already discussed here while creating a connection. In the connection factory, we have mentioned dispatch consumer async. So the consumer will be able to receive the message asynchronously. So here we are giving async eventing basic consumer. So for that we have to use RabbitMQ client.events. Fine. Now of the channel. So the channel is email channel. Fine. Now once the consumer received a message, email consumer dot received, we have to declare an event. Okay, so plus equal to, then just press the tab. Okay, so it will automatically create a method for that. So I'm removing this throw new not implementation exception. And let me make this an asynchronous method. Fine. Let me remove this namespace and use it. Okay. So now this consumer receives a message. This method will get fired. So the next thing what we need to do is email channel dot, that was correct actually, basic consume. And here we have to provide the queue name. So the queue name is, here we need to get the messages from email queue. So the queue name is email. We have already created a queue with email, with the name email. So I have given the same name here, comma, auto acknowledge. So if we provide this value as true, then we don't need to manually acknowledge the message. Automatically, once our application receives a message, it will get acknowledged. But in our case, we may need to do it manually. For example, we are planning to process emails. So we will be sending, our application will be sending emails. So here the thing is, if the email sending got failed, then we have to retry sending email again. So in that case, what we have to do is we can provide false here. Then after receiving the message, we will try processing the email. And if it has failed, then we will reject the message. So it will be queued again, and our application will be able to receive it again, and we can retry sending the same email. Okay. Now, after that, we have to provide the consumer. So the consumer is the object which we have created just now. So I'm providing that. Okay. So now we told the application to consume messages from email queue, and the consumer is this consumer object. So this consumer object will be listening, or it once it receive a message, then this method will get fired. Okay. And here what we need to do is var message equal to, we need to read the message, right? So here I'm changing this name @event to just E. That is enough. Okay. Encoding dot UTF-8 In the same way, while we published, we have converted the string message to bytes. So in the same way, we will receive the message in bytes format. So we have to convert it to string. UTF-8.get string of. Now here we have to provide bytes here. So e.body to array. E.body to array. So this will be a byte array, and here we are converting the byte array to string, and it will get saved in this variable. So here we can retrieve the message. Now the next thing what we need to do is, once we receive the message, we have to display it in this email list box. So we need to provide that function as well here, and once we display it in that list box, we will acknowledge the message manually. So as this is a asynchronous method, or we can say that this method will work in a separate thread. So we need to, in a WinForm application, the UI will be in a different thread. So we cannot directly add the items to this list box. So in order to do that, we have to give it like this: email messages dot invoke method invoker. Okay. And here we are providing lst email messages dot items dot add of message. Fine. So this method is for invoking the list box. So list box is in a UI thread, but here we are receiving it as an asynchronous, or it is in a separate thread. So in order to invoke the UI thread, we have to provide it like this. But for sending an email, we don't need to do this kind of methods, invoke method. We can do it in the background thread itself. We can send emails. You can here you can give the function, or here you can give the entire function to send emails. Okay. So now once we have completed our process, the next thing what we have to do is we have to acknowledge this message. So here, as we have given auto acknowledge false, we have to acknowledge it manually. If we have given true here, then we don't need to do anything. Once we receive the message, immediately it will get acknowledged. Okay. So, but here we are acknowledging it manually. So here I have given false here. Now channel, email channel dot basic acknowledge. Now here we have to provide a delivery tag. That is the first parameter. So e dot delivery tag, we will get the delivery tag from this object. Now bool multiple means if there are more messages waiting in the queue, if we need to acknowledge all, means we won't need to receive it. We just need to receive this single message, and we will tell RabbitMQ that we have acknowledged everything, and we won't be receiving the next message waiting in the queue. So in that case, we can provide it as true. But here in our scenario, we are sending emails, so we have to send emails to all the messages in the queue. So here we are giving it as false. Multiple is equal to false, or we are setting multiple property to false. Fine. So this is fine. Now let's see how it works. I'm running the application. Clicking on the connections tab. Now let's see. First, we can connect RabbitMQ. Yeah, the connection established. Now, actually, it won't take this much time to establish the connection. It is because this page is taking some 5 seconds to refresh. Every 5 seconds is only this page will get refreshed. So that is why a small delay is there. Normally, the connection will establish immediately. Okay. Now, what we are doing is we are sending a message to, okay, we are opening the queues tab here so we can see the values. Now we are sending the message to, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll create a breakpoint here. I need to show something. Okay, now I'm sending the message to email, sample email message 01, or let's say it is a email test@gmail.com. We need to send this email to this particular mail ID. Okay, I'm publishing it. So now the message got published. Oh, okay. We've okay. Now you can see that there is a message ready for delivery, but we have not subscribed the queue yet. So it will start receiving the messages only only after clicking this subscribe button. So before that, I'm just sending some more messages to show you how this prefetch count will work. Test 1, sending it, then test 2, publishing, test 3, test 4. So now I think there will be 5 messages ready for delivery. It will be refreshed soon. Yeah, now there are 5 messages ready for delivery. Fine. Now I am clicking on subscribe email queue. Once we clicked on it, we can see that we have received 1 message. So it is here now. So now you can see ready is 4. 4 is in the queue and 1 is awaiting for acknowledgement. So 1 message has been received by our application and it is ready for acknowledgement. Okay. So total 5. Now let's see what is the message we received. We received the first message what we have sent, test@gmail.com, and we will add it in this list box. So now I'm removing the breakpoint and click on continue. So you can see now we have received all the 5 messages. Now let's say test5@gmail.com, publish. Immediately we have received it. So this is how subscribing for the queue works. Now let's check SMS as well, and after that I will show you how the subscription will work in multiple applications. So first let us complete the SMS messages part, subscribing the SMS message. So for that, again, I'm going to subscribe SMS queue, opening the click event. Yeah. Now here also we need, here we have to use SMS channel is equal to RabbitMQ.create model, same thing. Then basic, okay, I'm copy pasting all the things from here, but changing here. Okay, instead of email channel, we have to use SMS channel. Then renaming this object SMS channel consumer is equal to, here we have to provide SMS channel, then SMS channel consumer. Okay, here we have to create a new event for this tab. Yeah. And SMS channel dot basic consume. So here we have to give the queue name of SMS. The queue name of SMS is yeah, SMS is the first is capital. Fine. And provide the consumer object name here. Fine. So this is enough for the click event. Now, once we receive a message, we have to do the same thing. But instead of LST email, we have to populate it in LST SMS messages. Then instead of email channel, we have to use SMS channel, why? Because SMS channel has to acknowledge it. And I'm renaming this @ event to E file. Oh, okay. this task is not async. Fine. Great, that's enough. Now let's see. So I'm connecting RabbitMQ. Connection got established. Now sample 01 publish, sample 02 publish. Now I'm clicking on subscribe SMS queue. Oh, it got, oh, sorry, we forgot to change the list box name here. So LST SMS messages dot items dot add. Now it will work clearly. So I'm subscribing both. Oh, sorry, we cannot subscribe as the connection has not been established. So first I'm connecting to RabbitMQ. Now subscribing to email queue, subscribing to SMS queue. Now sending one email, test@gmail.com. Okay. Sample 1. Okay. Sample 2. Sample 3. Yes, so you can see now all these things are working as expected. Now what I'm going to show you is what if we have multiple consumers and multiple publishers? That also can happen, right? We will need, we may have multiple applications in our solution which will be consuming the same queues and which will be using the same exchanges. So let's see how it will be. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm just running multiple instances of the same application. So I'm going to the bin folder, debug. Now RabbitMQ sample, I'm minimizing this. RabbitMQ sample, okay, application 1 is here. Now again, opening the same application, another instance. Let's have 4 instances, okay. This is the 4th one, this is the 3rd one, and this is the 4th one. Now let's remove this. Fine. Now inside our connections, there are no connections at all. Now what I'm doing is I'm connecting from all these applications, connect, 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 connect. Okay, you can see now there are 4 different connections or are having the same connection name. We have given demo app client for all the applications, but if you have different applications, you can provide different names so that you will be able to identify the application, which application this connection belongs to which application. Okay. Now what I'm doing is in all applications, okay, not in all applications, in the left side, we are subscribing to email queue. Okay. And the right side, we are subscribing to SMS queue. Okay. So these 2 applications are subscribed for SMS queue, and these 2 are subscribed for email queue. Yeah, one more thing I need to show you. Now in channels, we can see there are 4 different channels. Now we have subscribed, actually in our code, only we have this email channel and SMS channel, which we have declared privately. All other channels will be immediately closed. So these channels are live now. So we have 4 channels, means these are the 4 channels. I'll show you. Yeah, these 2 have, this channel is for SMS and this channel for SMS. So 2 channels for SMS, and this here we subscribe for email, and here also we subscribe for email. So these 2 channels are email channels. Okay. So those are the 4, but we will get the details from here. When we click the channel, here we can see, yeah, this is subscribed for email queue. Okay, and if we click the second one, it is for SMS queue. 3rd one is again SMS, and 4th one is email. And here we can see the details, acknowledgement required, prefetch count, all these things we can see here. Fine. So these channels are active now. Now what we are going to do is we are sending some SMS messages from here, sample 01. So we know that SMS channel is subscribed by these two applications on the right side. So I'm subscribing it. Sorry, I'm publishing it, and you can see one application received it. Now again, I'm subscribing. Again, I'm publishing another message. Now the second message got received by the second application. In the same way, if I'm publishing multiple times, you can see the messages are equally distributed among the clients. Okay. In the same way, from here also, okay, I'm publishing some message, and you can see here we are able to receive it. Now from here, I'm publishing some message in email, say 1, 2, 3, and here 4, 5, 6. Publish. Okay. So the messages are equally distributed among the clients. That is the advantage of RabbitMQ. So this is what I need to explain in this video, how we can implement all these things in our application. So if you enjoyed the video, please like the video. And if you have any doubts, please comment to the video. I will explain the things in a more detailed way if you need. Hope you enjoyed the video. So please like, share, and subscribe the channel. So see you in the next video. Thank you all.